Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Mesa in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling day. It has been a beautiful day here today. I think we got somewhere in the low 60s today, but we're all snug as a bug in a rug here in the RV. We had the door open for a while, and Zeffy was very upset today because um, we'd spoken with Chris the day before New Year's Day, and no, 2 days before New Year's Day, and she's our mail carrier. And so we spoke to her on Wednesday, and she said she had Thursday, Friday off and should see us on Saturday. Yeah, she wasn't driving today, and Zeffy was very upset with her. And she was running around the RV like a maniac, like, why isn't she stopping? Why isn't she stopping? So poor Zeffy today. She did not get her mail treat today, and she won't get one tomorrow since they don't come on Sundays. But anyway, so how did you do with Shake It Up Saturday today? How did you go with your fun in 2021? How did you do with that plan today? Your plan for fun in 2021. Did you come up with some creative ideas for that? Did you see our live this morning where we talked about the 7 different ways that you could shake up your 2021 with some fun? Things like finding a mentor, getting in the game, lifestyle, surroundings, friendships, relationships, and self. Those are our 7 things. So, did you come up with some good stuff on all of that today? I went through this. Was like, yeah. I still can't do anything about my. I can clear the clutter, which I did do some of that today too. But today was more of a genealogy kind of day. It was so I did the posts. I did the Facebook Live this morning, and then after that, went and had some breakfast, and spent the day catching up on genealogy because I've got a client that I've been working with the last few weeks, but the last 2 weeks of the year, I hadn't had. Yes, I'd gotten a little bit done here and there, but not as much as I wanted to because of other projects I had going on at the time. That was all stuff to do with year end and that sort of thing. So today was sort of like a catch up day. It was a refamiliarize myself with their tree day, and then it was doing some digging deeper into the tree to see if I could find the information because there's a couple of great grandparents that we're a little bit of trouble with because we can't get to the 2 times great grandparents without getting the first great grandparents done. So we have the name of the great grandmother, but I think we might have found the great grandfather, but he's proving very elusive because I've got reports where it shows that she is a widow, but I can't, and who she's the widow of, but I can't find any information about him, when he was born, when he died, when they got married, anything like that. So it's like he's this ghost. So yeah, it's I like mysteries. That's what it's given me. It's given me a great mystery. So I am super happy about that one. And but yeah, it's just been a very quiet day. Zeffy's been running up and down. We've had some playtime today. We've done some. Actually, we didn't do any dancing today, Zeffy. No, we didn't. And Zeffy's sort of like, what are you talking about? um, but I've been listening to this audio book. Damn, where's my phone? Oh crap, it's over there. Phone's over there, and it's got my audio book on that we're listening to. But it's like a 90-minute audio book, and it's full. Um, it's a full unabridged edition of it. But this one wrote this book. It is really interesting listening to it because let's see if I can quickly find it here while I'm talking with you guys. But it's very cool, and I'm sort of like, oh my gosh, I totally relate to some of the feelings that this person's having in this story, and it's a woman's dialogue. The Year of Magical Thinking. There it is. It's by Joan Didion, but it's narrated by Vanessa Redgraves, and it's it basically says celebrated writer Joan Didion's life was altered forever. She wrote a new chapter in this adaptation of her iconic memoir. She transforms the story of the shattering loss of her husband and their daughter into a one-woman play performed by Tony Award winner Vanessa Redgraves. It is awesome. I'm about I'm about halfway through it. In fact, I don't even think I'm halfway through. I think I'm only like 30 minutes into it because I'm trying to. It's an hour and a half long, and I've been listening to it when I've been doing the dishes or doing stuff in the kitchen because I put my little portable speaker here. It's a Bluetooth speaker. I stick it on top of the kettle. The kettle's got a flat top because I only use the kettle for basically for the mornings. So I stick it on top of that, um, and I listen to it there because it's the top of the kettle keeps the speaker out of the way, but it's still within my reach if I need to adjust the volume or anything else like that. But she talks about the time when her husband passed away, and how he passed away, and how after he passed away, she was waiting for, he was sitting at the table in the middle of talking to her, and suddenly he just stops talking, and he's like slumped forward, and she thinks he's like playing something like that, and goes over and shakes him, and he falls down to the floor, and so she calls the EMTs. They come in, they do their thing, they take her to the hospital. She walks in the door. This guy comes up and introduces himself, and turns out that he's the social worker, and she knew she was in trouble when the social worker was there. But at the same time, she also has a daughter at a different hospital who's in ICU, and got the tube in her where they've got her in a medically induced coma because of the flu that she had. She went into the hospital with the flu, and now she's got like walking pneumonia or something like that, and they couldn't get her temperature down, so she's been in hospital since like Christmas. This all happens over Christmas, New Year time frame. And but there was one funny line in there today that I thought, I must remember to tell people that. But of course, I was in the middle of the sink, hands full, soap suds everywhere because I hand washed my dishes. Going, oh, I need to write that down. Yes, well, we'll have to try to remember it. But no, I can't remember what the line is. But it is a really good book. And with her dealing with the passing of her husband, it brought back some of the feelings that I had when Brad passed. And like, she doesn't, everybody keeps telling her that, oh, that was it. She was talking, a friend of hers comes over, and as the friend comes in, she's talking to New York Times about the obituary that they're going to post. And she seems to think, she says, oh, hang on, I've got to let LA know. And then she goes to call LA, but of course nobody's answering the phone because it's too early in the morning in LA. And then she suddenly realized, well, hang on, it hasn't happened in LA yet. So do I wait until after the time has occurred to call LA to let them know it's happened? Or am I going to be predicting the future if I call them now? And I just sort of like went, wait, what? So she somehow had in her mind that in LA, her husband was not dead because the time of his passing had not yet occurred in LA. And I just sort of thought, okay, that's a really good trip. I thought, yeah, I can see with Brad passing, I can see how that could work, and how if you think that you tell them before that time is up that that you're predicting his death rather than, yeah, I thought, I've been in that space. I can totally relate to that. But it actually, and I know some of the feelings that she was going through, and it actually made me laugh. And then I thought, oh, maybe I shouldn't be laughing at that. But the logic of it sounded reasonable to my mind. And I thought, when you are in that state and having to accept the fact that, and you haven't yet accepted the fact that your spouse is now gone, you get all sorts of weird thoughts that go through your head. And I thought, I did not have that thought with Brad, but I can totally relate to the way that her brain is working right now in that moment. Because there's all sorts of weird things that go through your brain. Well, I don't want to get rid of his clothes yet because he may come back and need them. You have these thoughts. I don't want to get rid of this yet. You're going through some of the stuff. I don't want to get rid of it yet because he's going to come back and he may need it. So you have those thoughts. But this one just it just really struck my funny bone how she thought that, well, hang on, he's passed here in New York time, but he hasn't yet passed in LA because it's not the same time yet. So do I have to wait till that time has come and gone before I call LA and let them know? Or do I call them now and predict his death? And this was some of the thoughts going through her head. And then the other one was because her daughter was in this induced coma, whenever she went to visit her daughter, they had the news playing on, they had the TV on with the news on going continually. And she told them, she says, you need to turn that off. She says, because they use it to help stimulate, something about stimulating the brain or something like that. And I thought, I would choose any other channel except the news channel, but anyway, whatever. Um, and so she actually asks them if they could turn the news off, and they're explaining, well, it helps stimulate their brain and keeps the brain active. It gives them an anchor in this point in time, and all the medical hoo-ha about it. And she turns around and she says, what you don't understand is that her father has just passed away, and I don't want her hearing about it on the news. And I thought, that is a reasonable request. So they turn the TV off. The next day she goes in, the TV's back on again. So she has to get them to turn it off. When she goes in the next day, there's either, I can't remember if she put the notice up on the TV or they had about the TV is to stay off. It took them a while to educate them. And this is one thing that you got to do when you're got a loved one who's in hospital. You become their advocate for them, making sure that they get what they need. So in this case, she was making sure that her daughter, even though her daughter was in a coma, and there have been reports of people when they're in the coma that they can hear what's going on around them, and they seem to think like it's a dream. And sometimes they remember those things when they wake up, sometimes they don't. But she was taking the chance that she did not want her daughter to hear it first through the TV and then to wake up and remember it and have to ask her mother about it. So her mother wanted to be the one to tell her. So it's actually a really, really good book. And I love Vanessa Redgrave's voice on this thing. It is just beautiful. So, I'm only 30 minutes into it. I still have an hour to go. But I just listened to it while I wash the dishes and clean up in the kitchen. And so the book is called The Year of Magical Thinking. And I thought this is going to be a good book. But Vanessa Redgrave was the one that did the original role on Broadway in 2007. So I'm looking forward to reading the rest of that book. But anyway, there's not a lot to report for today because we've just had a genealogy type of day and just been working on this mystery of trying to find these great-grandparents, both of them, instead of having the name for one and the first and last, just having the last name for one and the first and last name for, which is really weird because we've got the first and last name for the great-grandmother, but we only have the last name for the great-grandfather. So it's kind of interesting. So we're gonna, still work on it a little bit. We're gonna work on it some more and everything else, and even the birth records, the baptismal records, only has the one person listed. So I'm sort of like, well, when did the husband pass away? How many kids did they have? And so it's trying to figure out. But I've got city directories which lists families in there, and so it's now making those connections between those family members because they're all living in that cluster in the same area, like they're all within a block or two of each other. So the likelihood of them all being related is pretty high. So we will see what happens with that. And digging deeper. Because the other side, the paternal side of the family, was sort of like, boom, information. The maternal side of the family, a little bit here and a little bit there. So it's proving a little more challenging, but I love a challenge. Anyway, hope you've had a super fantastic, sparkling Shake It Up Saturday. Remember to get your fun into it. Remember, it's fun, and what do I say? I wrote it down here. It's all about fun in 2021. So get your fun plans for 2021 done so that we can get together, have some fun, make it a super fantastic, sparkling year because it is going to be an incredible year. This year is going to be, think of it this way. You've been through a lot of challenges in 2020 and 2021. You may still face a lot of challenges, but you're going to start getting the rewards are going to start coming through. So anyway, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we will see you tomorrow for my favorite day of the week, Serenity Sunday. I only have 7 favorite days. But so we've got Serenity Sunday tomorrow, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hei konara!